I'm very excited to talk about the weekend that was. So like I said, Thursday was Thanksgiving. Hope you had a lovely Thanksgiving if you celebrated it. Friday, we had the final PFL event of 2023. Now, I must say, it was a long-ass event. It was a long-ass event, and this weekend recap, of course, thank you, Frank, is brought to you by our good friends over at Cash App. There was a lot of cash that was exchanged on Saturday, or Friday, I should say. A bunch of people made a lot of money. $6 million checks handed out, not to mention the big dogs like Kayla Harrison in action. You know she gets paid a pretty penny, as she should. This is the problem with these events. 6 fights with the potential of going 25 minutes each is just hard to get through. And one of those championship fights was on the prelims. It drags. It drags. And, I don't know what the answer is here. Do you spread them out over a couple events? So you give like 2 its shine, and maybe now with more fighters, you can do a stretch of 3 weeks where it's 2-2-2. I don't know what the answer is, but 6 title fights, especially when a lot of them are going the distance, makes for a very long event. Their production, in my opinion, has come a long way. It looks good. It's flashy. It has sizzle. I think their broadcast team is great. Sean O'Connell, Kenny Florian, Randy Couture, Dan Hardy, they all do a great job. They're all well respected. They all speak well on the microphone. It's a nice package. It just went a little too long is the problem. It's hard. It's really hard to watch fights that just aren't moving. I know Don Davis spoke about this afterwards. You want the knockouts, and it's not always going to happen. This isn't pro wrestling. You can't script the fights, but there wasn't a ton to write home about. I don't know how many of the winners from Friday are big-time stars. I would say the biggest name of them all, Olivier Aubin-Mercier, is now talking about retirement, so not great. But there were positives, don't get me wrong. Kayla Harrison returning, big-time positive, looked solid, got the win over Aspen Ladd. That's great. Derek Brunson looked solid enough. Had a nice win over Ray Cooper, who missed weight. The other problem is I understand that, elbows are a problem in the tournament. I don't love that they don't use elbows. It's weird to me. In the finale, you should be able to use elbows, in my opinion. And especially if you're involved in a non-tournament fight, why shouldn't you use elbows? And so you wonder if a fight like Derek Brunson or a Kayla Harrison fight would end earlier or not go the distance if elbows were a thing. This is a part of the sport. I don't like that they take that weapon away. I could sort of understand it if it's part of a tournament. Still don't really love it, but I get it to a degree. Final event of the year, non-tournament fight, you should be able to use it. There are nice stories. It's great to see these guys make $1 million. Is that, to me, the highlight of the event was the integration of the Bellator guys. Seeing them cage side, seeing some of them come into the cage, the likes of Patricio Pitbull, made it feel exciting. It would have been great if they had a date for this Bellator PFL, tete-a-tete, if you will. That would have been great. My understanding is they're hoping to do it in the first quarter, maybe late Feb. There's a chance it could be a Saudi event, a chance. All of this is very much up in the air. Witness the fact that they didn't even have many details on Friday. Part of the issue is, of course, you have to see if these guys are healthy. We're talking about an event in a little over 2 months. And if I were them, I wouldn't necessarily tie myself to a Bellator PFL Champions card because, again, as we've talked about over the last week, that leaves out a Johnny Eblin or a Patchy Mix. I would do Eblin versus Derek Brunson and just make it PFL versus Bellator. And you only have really one chance to do that. You only have one chance to do the PFL guys versus the Bellator guys because then eventually it's all going to get mixed together. And so you need to do it the right way. And you need to try to maximize it. And leaving guys like Eblin, who were there, who was very honest on the broadcast that he's not really sure what this means for his future, would be somewhat of a shame. But having them there was really smart. It reminded me of the time that the WWE guys showed up to Hammerstein Ballroom back in the day for ECW One Night Stand and they were sitting up top. Or it reminded me of the time when the WCW guys showed up at WrestleMania 7 and they were sitting, 17. No, was it 17? X7? Yeah, it was X7. in Houston, and they were sitting in one of the suites. But this time they were all around the cage. I thought it was cool. That to me, seeing the integration, seeing the way they were built up, seeing how they were trying to build to 2024 was all very exciting. But as we've said, now you have to put it into practice. One part to me that blew my mind, I saw a press conference afterwards with Don Davis, which I love the fact that he's now speaking more, and I think he should be the mouthpiece and the face and the voice. He has a certain zest, a certain excitement when he speaks. I like it. I couldn't disagree with him more about one thing that he said. He said he would like to do the Cris Cyborg versus Kayla Harrison fight, but you got to do Pacheco versus Cyborg first. What? That to me is crazy. That is, to steal a line from my old colleague Luke Thomas, promotional malpractice at its finest. We have been talking about Kayla Harrison versus Cris Cyborg for 2-3 years now. There's a chance, please don't get mad at me, Chris, but this is fighting. Things happen. There's a chance that Larissa Pacheco beats Cris Cyborg. She's very good. If you haven't noticed, she just won the last 2 tournaments, and she won them in 2 different weight classes, 55 and 45, and has a win over Kayla Harrison. Why would you risk that? Again, forget about this champion versus champion thing. Just make it PFL versus Bellator and do Kayla versus Cyborg. They have a history. They have a beef. Chris has a freaking website that she bought with Kayla's name in it that leads back to the fight. It would be crazy to me to not do that. Of all the potential Bellator versus PFL fights, that's probably the most intriguing one. And if you risk it by putting Pacheco in there against Cyborg, you're taking a very big chance that this fight never comes to fruition. It's here. She's finally your fighter. She's finally under your umbrella, and I know she's upset that she didn't get the invite and all this stuff, but she's under contract now to you. You got to make that fight. You have to. This is not the time to get cute. This is not the time to be like, oh, this person's a champ and we need to do... No, this is the time to make the biggest fights possible. You only get a chance to do this once. There's only one shot to do this, in a true PFL Bellator. These are the PFL guys. These are the Bellator guys. This is the best fight that you can make, the most intriguing fight, the one that has the most history and the most heat. Some of the other fights are great, but there's no history and heat there. There's no heat between Pinedo and Pitbull. This one has heat. This has 2-3 years of heat. What are we doing, Don? Come on, you got to make that fight. Trust me on this one. Make that. It's Kayla versus Cyborg, and the winner can fight Pacheco, and then you have a great story. And maybe Pacheco doesn't want to do the tournament anymore, so now you have a great story: Kayla versus Pacheco or Cyborg versus Pacheco. These are all very intriguing fights. You got to do that one first. So anyway, big stuff coming for PFL. I suspect they'll announce the TV deal in the near future here in America. Seems like ESPN is the spot. I don't know where they'll go with Bellator, and they'll have their Challenger series, and hopefully we'll get to see the Europe, fights, the European cards, and if they do Africa and they do, hopefully we'll get those. There's still a lot of questions that need to be answered. Is Francis going to fight? When is Francis going to fight? Is Jake going to fight? When is Jake going to fight? There's a good chance both of them don't fight next year. There's a very good chance. This could be a thing. And so let's see. Now they got their pieces. Now they've got their momentum. Let's see if they can put it into practice. So that was on Friday. Then we get to Saturday. And Saturday was just a trio of events that was supremely fun. Matchroom event in Dublin. Golly, did I have FOMO watching this. I so wanted to be there. Katie Taylor, Chantelle Cameron. It felt like Taylor's career potentially was on the line. She had lost the first fight back in May, fair and square. Cameron appeared bigger, stronger, faster, younger than Taylor. This time around, a lot was made of the fact that Taylor wasn't doing a lot of media. She was supposed to come on this show, didn't come on this show, among many other shows and interviews. No hard feelings, still love her. Was not going to soak in the ring walk, was not going to put too much pressure on her. Going out there to win, to try to get those 4 titles at 140 and prove all the doubters wrong. And she did all that. She talked very little. The ring walk was super quick. The freaking crowd, the 3 Arena was on fire. It was electric. What a scene. Ed Sheeran was there. The place was amazing. And the fight was even better. Golly. If you have not watched this fight yet, please, I know it's tough to watch fights sometimes when you know who the winner is. Do yourself a favor and watch this. This was fighting at its best. This was boxing at its best. This was women's boxing at its best. Whatever you want to say, it was incredible. It was amazing. It was hard to score. I don't agree with the 98-92 in favor of Taylor. I am totally fine with the 96-94. I'm fine with the 95-95. In the end, I do think Taylor won, and I like that 96-94 scorecard a lot. Back and forth. They were just meeting in the middle like two bulls, head down, swinging for the fences. Now, unfortunately, there were some head clashes, and Cameron suffered a cut, but she was as game as can be, and as was Katie Taylor, reminding everyone who she is, that in my opinion, she's the greatest female boxer of all time. And I know this has upset a lot of people, including the Clarissa Shields fans, and that's fine. That is my opinion. Just like the pound for pound list is subjective, my opinion. I've said this is not a new thing. And what about that money moment of the week? What about Ed Sheeran in the locker room? I mean, this is amazing stuff. Last week was a really tough week in Ireland. It was a very divisive week. And I was talking with my good friend P.T. Carroll. Isn't it amazing that when it seems like Ireland is struggling in a really bad way, it's the patron saint herself, the pride of Ireland. No athlete, dare I say, no, celebrity, if you want to call her that, more beloved. And as Eddie Hearn always loves to say, there's not a single person out there who says a negative thing about Katie Taylor, ever. She's the one fighting to bring the country together, to make them forget about a horrific week with tragedies, multiple tragedies occurring. She's the one back home, rights the wrong, gets the win, gets the homecoming, unites the country, at least for one night. Just beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Please, for the love of God, give us Croke Park in 2024. Please, for the love of God, make that happen so we don't have to hear about it anymore and ask what if, and why not. And there's really two big options. There's the Cameron trilogy, which I sort of feel like at this point needs to happen because Cameron was a great sport about all of this. And I know that it was the biggest fights possible for her, but golly, she just lost her belts back-to-back in Ireland. She deserves that, or it's the Amanda Serrano fight. I suspect the Cameron fight would be a lot easier to make. She is promoted by Eddie Hearn as well. It would make a lot of sense, and you don't have to co-promote with anyone else to make it happen. So happy for Katie, though. It was hard to watch back in May, and it was heartbreaking to see her lose her debut, her homecoming. And so to see her come back home and get a win like that, one of the best fights I've ever seen, just absolutely amazing. It was riveting. It truly was. I loved every second of it. And the card was great. Gary Cully gets the big win. Thomas Carty gets the big win. Patty Donovan gets the big win. It was the complete opposite of May. All the big Irish stars got wins, and Ireland was buzzing. And now they get Mick Conlan in Northern Ireland on Saturday. So an amazing fight. And I have so much respect for both of them and thoroughly enjoyed it. Then we get to Survivor Series on Saturday night, and I'm locked in, and I'm watching that, and I'm watching Benavidez, the final Showtime boxing pay-per-view, and it was a great card, War Games, all that stuff. And then they hit the copyright, and then they go to the zoomed out, fishbowl camera, and then Cult of Personality plays. Look in my eyes, what do you see? One of the biggest holy shit moments, if not the biggest, in the history of pro wrestling. Two other times I thought there's no chance this guy's ever coming back to WWE, and they came back. This one feels different. The other two times, Hulk Hogan when he came back in early 2000, it was 2002 with NWO, and then of course later on Bret Hart. The Bret Hart one was obviously very personal, but a lot of time had passed. And there you see CM Punk, aka Phil Brooks, and Triple H, aka Paul Levesque, head of content, chief content officer of WWE, taking the picture together back in Chicago. That music plays almost exactly 10 years to the day that he walked off. And remember, we interviewed him at home right after that Royal Rumble. It had gotten so personal. And I'll be honest, I had developed a really great relationship with CM Punk over the years. And we have talked a lot about pro wrestling, and we have talked a lot about his relationship with WWE. And just based off that, and I'm not telling you any deep, dark secrets, and we aren't as close as we once were, and that just happens over time. But I just never thought in a million years that he would come back, because it got so personal, because of the things he talked about, because of the staph infection, because of the getting the papers on his wedding day, because of everything that he had said and they had said and the back and forth and AEW and all that stuff. And now to see him back on WWE programming, on the road to WrestleMania, appearing on Raw tonight, holy shit. That might be the one. I never thought that they would get it done, that they would be able to fix the broken relationship. But here are two things that I think people have overlooked in the last 48 hours when talking about this. Number one, there's actually three things. In the pro wrestling business, as we have learned with Hulk Hogan, with Bret Hart, with Ultimate Warrior, you never say never. It's maybe the one business out there where grudges don't exist. They may persist, but at the end of the day, they can all be repaired, they can all die off, and everything can be fixed with a handshake because it's what's good for business. And we've seen this time and again. Vince McMahon isn't as big a part of WWE as he once was, but that was always his mentality, for better or worse. Say what you will about the guy, he was always willing to make a deal if it was what was good for business. And so this is an extension of that. So ultimately, we should never be surprised, and we should never, ever, ever say never in the world of pro wrestling. We've seen too many guys. Bray Wyatt came back last year, etc. Which leads me to the next point. The next point is this is a different era, and it's a company being run by Nick Khan, who, as I always talk about, my former agent. And so I know him a little bit. And what you have to remember is that he is coming into this with fresh eyes. He is not coming in with a grudge. He is not coming in with that baggage. He is not coming in with, any animosity towards anyone. He is coming in with one objective and one objective only, is to win. And let's be honest, they're, in a, whatever you want to call it, battle with AEW, and his objective is to win there. And so they'll get Cody Rhodes and they'll get Jade Cargill and they'll get CM Punk because ultimately that's a win over AEW. And there's been a lot of wins lately. There have been a lot of wins. AEW gets their, they get their Adam Copelands and their Daniel Bryans, etc. But this is a freaking win, especially after what happened just a few months ago with AEW and CM Punk. And the other thing that I haven't seen a lot of people bring up in the wrestling business is CM Punk, like me, for a while, was represented by CAA. He has a previously existing relationship with Nick Khan. And that was a huge part. And I was surprised a lot of people maybe didn't know that or didn't put two and two together. And so that's a massive bridge that was already in place in order to make this happen. Now, does it happen because of this? Was it a fact? Who ultimately knows? And we'll get some answers. I'm sure we're not going to get these kinds of answers, but he is going to speak tonight on Monday Night Raw, and the numbers are going to be great, and it's going to go through the roof, and it's great to see. It's great to see him back where he should have been all along. It's great to see the relationship repaired, at least for now. I hope it ends up being a good deal for all involved. I hope it works out. He's too big of a legend, too big of a superstar, too big of an icon for his career to have just fizzled out after, whatever happened a few months ago with AEW. It shouldn't end that way. And so let's see. There's a lot of baggage there with Roman Reigns. There's a lot of baggage there with Seth Rollins and many others. I am fascinated to see where this goes. And on a night where Randy Orton returns, on a night where Stephanie McMahon is sitting in the front row, all of that just gets, forgotten about because the best in the world came back. Crazy stuff. Absolutely crazy stuff. That was shocking, but it was a moment. Holy shit. Did you hear that pop? When that song played, and to do it in Chicago, brilliant. What was so great about it was it seemed like one of those internet rumors that was just kind of persisting over the last few weeks. And it just seemed like one of those classic ones that would never come to fruition because no one broke the news. And it just seemed so far-fetched, like The Rock returning last year at WrestleMania or whatever, that everyone was going to go home unhappy. And then the event seemed to end, and they put up the copyright bug, and then it happened. One of those rare, true surprises. It was brilliant. A reminder as to why pro wrestling is so much fun and why it's so great. So I love that, and I can't wait to see where that all goes. And then when that was done, I watched David Benavidez lay the smackdown on Demetrius Andrade, a very, very impressive performance. And now I want to see him versus Canelo next. The big question is, where is PBC going? That was the final Showtime boxing pay-per-view. and just the second to last event ever. The last one is going to be in December in Minneapolis, headlined by David Morrell. What I'm hearing right now is that PBC is very, very close to a deal with Amazon, and so we'll see what happens there. And so there will be events that if you are an Amazon Prime subscriber, just like if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber who wants to watch the NFL, you can get those games. And then there'll be certain games or fights, I should say, that will be behind the pay-per-view paywall on Amazon and on traditional pay-per-view platforms such as ppv.com, in-demand, cable, satellite, etc. So that could be the new home now that the Showtime deal is done. And you need that home. You need that platform, because if you don't have that platform, it's going to hard to book fights like Crawford Spence, which looks like it might be in March, like Benavidez and Canelo, like a Tank Davis fight. You need that platform, and so hopefully that comes to fruition. And there's a new player in the world of boxing. Is it not fun? Are we not having a great time? The combat sports world is a fascinating place right now. I just talked about 4 events spanning 3 different forms of combat sports. And there's just like a litany of things. I mean, I could talk 3 hours about all those events combined. I spoke a little bit, but I need to dissect this a little bit more. Let's go to the top of the show in order. PFL Friday night. You guys were about to go, and if we could break the fourth wall, we were all, I on your behalf as well, counting our lucky stars that you didn't make the drive, and more importantly, didn't decide to drive back, because that thing ended at, I think, like 1 or 1:15 or something like that a.m. Eastern time. That would have been absurd. GC, I'll start with you. You were locked in from beginning to end. Your thoughts on the whole package, and you can respond to some of the things that I said about the night. To recap, there were some fine moments. I thought Kayla was a nice comeback. Impa, great story. Olivia, great story. We saw some knockouts here and there. Henin was great. All that stuff. Long. The Bellator thing to me was the most exciting component of it all. What do you think?
Yeah, I was also impressed with Derek Brunson's debut. I thought that was really cool to see him perform as well as he did. The fights were good. Having I think it was 3 of the 6 title fights go all 25 minutes, either 3 or 4. The production is good. It's solid. I did like the part about having the Bellator champions there. Thought it was kind of awkward, like having just a stagnant camera on them the entire time. Maybe flash it, let us know that they're watching, and then bring it back down. The mid-fight interviews, I also was not a huge fan of those. And then, you touched on it when you were breaking it down. The length of it, just the 6 title fights is just too much. The fact that it took almost 8 hours from start to finish for 11 fights. It was exhausting. The main card, I believe, if you go on ESPN Plus right now, the main card is like 4 hours and 50 minutes long.
Don't tell Steve-O this.
And if you add up the fight time, even with how long the title fights went, was still only 2 hours and 1 minute. So you had almost 3 hours of downtime just on the main card alone. That's just too much. Yeah, by the time, like, you talk about us driving home afterward, I was struggling just to make it to the end of the card sitting on my couch. The fights were fine, but the length of it was brutal.
You know what? I didn't even mention the interviews in the middle of the fights. Wiz Khalifa, Jake Paul. There's better use of them. Like, I know that's probably contractual stuff, and you've got them a part of the team. Wiz Khalifa posting an Instagram video and hyping it up before the card is way more impactful than him sitting there and trying to pretend like he knows what's going on in whatever the fight that was. Same with Jake Paul. Like, that's not the best use. If anything, like, go to them in between, go to them before the pre-show, whatever. It just takes away from whatever you're watching. It's not the 100%. Best use of them.
And Jake Paul being on for the Pacheco fight, and I kind of felt like they were thinking that one might not go too long, and then it went for 25 minutes, and like they would check back in with him, and he didn't really have too much more to add. I feel like there are better uses for the talent that they have. I even thought it was cool that they had like an interview with Ryan Bader during the heavyweight fight, but could have used it better, maybe beforehand or afterward, his thoughts on it. But during, like, it felt odd.
100%. Or even like little things like keeping Jason Jackson on the screen for that long. Like, we don't need him on the entire time. You want to go to him in between. They went to Johnny Eblin in between, like for a minute, right? That's fine.
Yeah, cool. Show him that he's there. I love it. Love it. I love that they did have him there.
What an
Great
idea.
by
What an
PFL.
idea. I mean, it's just $1 million
whoever
idea
thought of that
right
is
there.
brilliant.
Yep.
Shout out to them. So, I mean, yeah, to be honest, it didn't really feel that much different. I mean, we were obviously in the building last year for it from the championships last year. Like, it does take a while to go through. So I'm excited to see what happens in 2024. I think Don Davis tweeted out, like, that was how we're closing Chapter 1 of PFL. Now as we go to 2024, it's time to start Chapter 2 of it. So I'm curious to see what changes they implement. I mean, they asked him about the pacing of it, and he said that they're trying to find a middle ground because it felt like it almost got into like a calculated way of they would do it. You would do the fight, they'd do the interview, it would end. Now we're looking to the next one. You would have the breakdown of what to expect. Then you would have the profile piece on one fighter. Then you'd do the other fighter. Then they'd have a little bit more discussion. Then they would do the ring walks. And like, you're talking about like 30 minutes between each fight.
It's a lot. It's a lot. New York, Rick?
I mean, we've kind of covered all of it. The UFC does things well. There's stuff to learn there. The fight should be the focus. Stop adding bells and whistles that don't actually add anything. Focus on the fights, and then between that, fill it in with whatever else you got.
You know what was a big takeaway for me? And again, I know we're like, playing coy here. Oh, what a great idea. It was a great idea because the truth is the Bellator champs that they're acquiring are just bigger names than the PFL champs.
Yes.
And so like Eblin there, and I know he's not a household name, he's a superstar in the making, in my opinion. I would strongly argue he could be the best middleweight in the UFC if he got that opportunity. It's not happening now. So seeing him there, seeing Pitbull there, seeing names like that around made it feel bigger, right? I was like, oh, this is smart. I'm so happy that they did it. But what it really like told me was this deal is really great for them because they're getting an infusion of talent.
Yes.
And I can understand, like Kogan was saying, like, hey, I probably would have waited. Well, guess what? A lot of those guys would have went to the UFC. So you needed to get those guys. You needed to get that real estate in the form of these fighters for 2024. Because if not, you're going into 2024, a big year for you guys, post-TV deal, Saudi Arabia deal, all that, with, which needle movers on the roster. Now we're talking about, Patchy and Eblin and Cris Cyborg and names like that. They needed that. They needed that deal badly. So that was like my big takeaway. It was this was great for them.
Minimally so. Like, it was better than not having them, definitely. Like, I think it was good to have the Bellator fighters there, but it just felt like another PFL card. I'll be honest. Like, I expected it to feel different, and it didn't. It just felt like a PFL card with random cameos by Bellator fighters. Because they didn't, like, quite frankly, they didn't really have of all the fights, Kayla Harrison versus Cris Cyborg is the face-off that we actually want, right? Like, I'm happy to see Pitbull there. Jesus Pinedo is not somebody who I needed to see him face off with. What was the other face off we got? Did we get another face off? Yeah, there were two, right? What was the other one?
No, we didn't get Usman. We didn't get.
There was one more.
We didn't get Bader. We didn't get.
My brain is mush. Hold.
We already said. Did we get Jason Jackson?
We got Jason Jackson. That was the other one.
Wait, did we? Yes, we got Magomed Karamov and Jason Jackson. So again, like, great, but the one we actually wanted was Cyborg versus Kayla Harrison, or at least Cyborg versus Larissa Pacheco, and we didn't really get it. It just felt like a PFL card, which is what it is. If you're a fan of that, then great, you got what you wanted. If not, it left a little bit to be desired in terms of like, hey, we just closed this big deal. This is the future. It didn't feel that way. So hopefully as we get out of this season, now this chapter is closed, and get into the coming promotional period and into early next year before their season starts. And they've talked about, Don Davis has talked about targeting February for this Bellator versus PFL thing. We start to see the influence of that roster, and start to see the influence of the sale, and start to see the influence of having bigger names on the roster.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I just have to say my biggest takeaway is, like, if you don't make Kayla versus Cyborg, if it's right there and you do Pacheco versus Cyborg, that is extremely silly. And I'm trying to be kind.
But this is what I think I said this last week. Like, it feels too obvious now. Like, there's going to be a way to mess this up now.
That's the biggest crossover fight that they can make. I don't know what the better word is. Promotional versus like that's the one, right?
Yes.
Am I missing one?
No.
That
I
is the
don't think
one.
so.
That is the one. Like that will be. And
It's the one where they have somebody who you could arguably say, okay, this person is as big in a promotional sense,
right.
or at least closer in a promotional sense to the Bellator equivalent. They don't have somebody who can match star power. Like
Real heat there too.
and there's a
for a
real
long
fight to
Oh
be
my
made.
god.
Yeah,
Years.
it's obvious, but I feel like all the zigging and zagging at this point makes it.
I'd like to think that he threw that out there just to sort of like take the temperature, but
Well, Cyborg seems to be playing coy on it too.
yeah, but I mean, this
And
is
Kayla Harrison's calling out people but not saying their names. Like, nobody seems to want this fight.
no. I mean, she said it without saying it.
Okay, so why not say it?
I don't
Why
know.
are we saying?
I think
Why
she
are
would
we
do-
saying it without saying it?
I don't know.
Say it.
There's a lot of there's
All of them are messing this up horribly.
there's a,
Say it.
Yeah,
Make it.
yeah. I get it. I don't know why there's all this weird, like, dancing around.
That's what I'm wondering. I don't know. It feels inevitable, and now obviously not going to happen because we deserve nothing.
All right. Well, then let's move along to Dublin on Saturday. I mean, was that one of the greatest fights of all time, or what? Maybe the greatest fight in the history of fighting.
Okay, stop it. It was great though.
Golly, was it great.
Those two are great together.
Oh my
Just
god!
just a perfect match.
They were the round would start and they would just go like head down. There was no time off taken. It was unbelievable. It was mesmerizing, and it gets frustrating sometimes when you talk about these things in glowing terms and people are like, "You're out of your mind." I'm like, I'm pretty sure you didn't watch. If there's nothing that possibly could be said negative about that fight, other than if you're like a Chantelle Cameron fan, you're like, oh, she was leading with her head or she was grabbing this and that. But in terms of the action that was on display, not only that, the action, the crowd, the stakes, right? If Katie gets knocked out, maybe that's it. There was so much to that fight. I was mesmerized. I truly was. I enjoyed everything
really,
about it.
there was like little to no clinching until the last couple rounds. too.
That I don't know about. Katie was a little
The
clinch.
Cameron
happy.
fans were all upset about it, and I get it.
Yeah, she was clinching a lot.
Right.
We'll call it what it is. That
at
said,
the
I
end
thought
is
she
when-
won very
At
clearly.
the end is when she like really started. I mean, the last two rounds were essentially clinching the entire time.
Yeah.
But for the first 8, there was
Okay.
a lot
Now,
more action.
look, I really like Cameron a lot. I mean, she's a fun fighter to watch.
Yeah.
But I've been talking about Katie and my admiration and respect for her for a long time. I believe that was a knockdown in the first round.
It was definitely 100% a knockdown.
I really
I mean,
think
she
when
punched her. She did not step on her foot. I know that's the argument.
Yeah.
But like I've probably watched it like 20 times
It's
now.
like
I've
the
done
Zapruder
zoom in,
film? Yes.
slow motion on the
Yes.
foot. There's just no way her foot could have gotten that deep while being on top of Katie Taylor's. I think we were clean there. And she punches her and she falls back and she goes down. I don't know how you. I see why like the ref in real time thought it was a slip, but it should have been counted as a knockdown.
I thought that the ref thought that it wasn't necessarily a slip, but that he did, or that she did step on her foot. But if you look at it,
Right.
it looks side by side. I think it's the way she fell was a little bit awkward.
Yeah, she throws the hands
Yes.
back like she did have her foot caught under it, and then she kind of got the force of the punch pushed her back, and that's what made her fall. But
It resembled a slip, even if it was a knockdown.
Sure.
Right? That's the way to say it.
Have you shown this to Rick though? Because when we were texting during the fight, you thought unequivocally
in real
it was-
time, I thought it was a slip for sure.
Right.
I rewatched it with him, showed him how deep Chantelle's shoe is. He's come around to agreeing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's too parallel with the ground. The legs are it looks like they're both planted on the ground as opposed to like standing on a foot. But again, the rope is in the way. It's very hard. I don't care one way or another. Because I thought Katie Taylor won that fight regardless.
Right, but the knockdown with the way that the cards were scored,
Yeah, then it becomes a majority draw.
it becomes a majority draw.
Okay, so all that, I didn't think 98-92 was a fair scorecard.
No, egregious.
Yeah,
Egregious.
96,
It was
94,
way
95,
too close of a
95.
fight.
No.
Top score at 98.
Cameron did better work early and late, and Katie absolutely stole the middle rounds.
What should Eddie Hearn do, Rick? What should they do with Katie Taylor now?
Whoever will fight Katie in Croke Park in Dublin.
That's the
There
one.
it is. There it is.
Someone had
Next-
a
next
great
one up.
tweet. I think it was Kaposa. Shout out to our guy Kaposa. Is like,
Shout out.
was it him? He's like, is
don't know.
Croke Park a thing? Is it, or
Yes,
is
it
it
was
just
him.
is it just a thing that we have?
Has anything ever happened?
Yes.
We only hear about it in combat
Right.
sports as this like imaginary thing that never comes to fruition.
Oh man, would it be something?
There's no way it wouldn't happen now. The momentum that you have off this win.
I think I've said this 5 times about Connor, Katie's homecoming. Nothing would surprise me. But okay, so who should the opponent be?
I'll take either of those fights. They were both absolutely
Cameron or
epic.
Serrano?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on it too.
I
Part
mean,
of-
was
part of me
was
would
this
feel
even
really
better
sad.
than that one? I thought Serrano was just as good a
Was
fight.
mesmerizing. But
Yeah.
part of me would
Serrano
be
fight
sad
was
for
incredible.
Cameron that I feel like she deserves
Yeah,
to
she's gotten a raw deal.
get another crack at her belts. Those are her belts.
I agree with you, but this is a business and not,
Yeah.
look, she deserves so much credit, respect, all these things for the first performance, which I thought was clear for her. But B, fighting both times in Ireland. And now let's say it does become a trilogy, fighting the third time in Ireland. Like she's a rare breed and she should be appreciated for that. But this is business. Like let's not pretend like this is doing favors. Like she will be benefiting on the business end from this. This is a situation that will benefit her greatly, being in front of such a massive audience, having such a massive gate, drawing all the attention to it. So it's not as if she could just go somewhere else and do something that would be equivalent business wise, right? Like she
No,
is
especially
definitely
not
benefiting
as
from
champion. Not as champion, right?
This. So she's not doing charity here, but she's very game. And she deserves credit for what she's doing. And Katie is a willing combatant for her. Like these two paired up make magic together. Two really, really fun fights.
Give me that fight in the spring, and give me Serrano Nicholson, and let's see.
Yeah, but only one's going to be a Croak, right? Like you can't run them that close.
Oh no, Serrano Nicholson in Puerto Rico.
Oh, sorry, you said Serrano Nicholson. I thought you were saying do
Serrano
Katie
Nicholson in
and
Puerto
Serrano
Rico.
after.
Insane thing, insane scenes. Serrano, if she prevails, if she wins, and Katie prevails, maybe that's the retirement fight for Katie. But have them like somewhat close. There's like a weird. Like we were just talking about the Cyborg Kayla thing. There's like a weird thing with Serrano and Nicholson where she doesn't want to like acknowledge her presence and stuff like that. And even like I saw another tweet here about MMA. I don't know why she wouldn't want that fight. Other than
like
Katie,
the
What's
response-
the upside? I
response
know
is
why
like,
she wouldn't want that fight.
why not?
Response is like, I'm busy, but I wish her the best. Thanks.
Yeah.
It's just like
That's
she's getting to the point where
that's the biggest fight that
Sky
she could
Nicholson
get
is in the
outside of
realm
Katie
for it.
Taylor. No.
Okay, we just talked about her as a potential for opponent for Katie Taylor, and you don't understand why she wouldn't want
No,
the
if she-
undefeated young
If she's not
hungry
getting
lion.
if she's not getting the Katie fight, is there another fight out there that is
How
as
much
big?
more business does
Heather Hardy 3.
does Sky Nicholson do for her?
I think it'll get a lot of attention. Big fan base, Puerto Rico, homecoming fight.
Not enough upside. I understand it from a business perspective.
then
From
the
a fight
argument is
perspective, I'd watch it.
Then the argument is that she can only fight Katie Taylor then. Like who is
Yeah.
I think Sky Nicholson is the second biggest fight for her other than Katie Taylor.
Yeah, but the problem is the gap between 1 and 2, and then 3 and 2 are essentially the same. They're negligibly
All the
different.
other names, like honestly, right sitting here right now, I don't even remember who she fought, and it was on October the 27th. I don't even
Yeah.
remember the name of the last opponent. Do you guys?
No.
The historic fight. Surely Frank remembers. Frank, who did Amanda Serrano fight on October
I'm sorry,
27th?
my mic's not working right now.
And she picked up a win.
I know, but
Is
like-
she fighting Sky Nicholson just because everybody says like, oh, that's a name?
I mean,
No.
she is the interim champion, so if WBC says we're going to strip you unless you fight her, that could be a
And
thing.
she could give up her belts.
Yeah, but then she's not the undisputed champ.
I mean, are we acting like boxers just like take these fights against like the
No,
the-
but I will say this about women's boxers: there's way more undisputed fights in women's boxing than there are in males because there's less.
there's less
But
of them.
it
and
feels
less-
like they want to do it. More like just look at Taylor Cameron.
Serrano to me has a career where she's bounced around so many different weight classes, so many different styles of and weights of opponents. Like I don't think she needs to be in the grind of like, yeah, next one up. If she's holding out for Katie Taylor, I get it. If she's not, then okay, fight Sky Nicholson. That's fine. But like, I can't.
thing is,
I can't sit here and be like, oh, she's ducking or like she's
no,
the clear.
I was literally
she's the
just about to
clear-
say that. There's no way in hell that Amanda Serrano is afraid of any human being on the
Yeah.
planet. I just
Business.
think at this point, since teaming up with Jake Paul, that was 2021, her profile. I mean, there was a point where she was fighting for like 30 and 30, or not even 30, sorry, 30K, period. There was no 30.
Yeah. And doing MMA just as
doing
a side
icon
quest.
fights, like, and God knows what she was making for that. So now I feel like in the sort of back nine of the career, you get the homecoming. I mean, there was times that she was fighting in these small, like, DeBella shows that weren't drawing a lot of people. So try to get the biggest fights. I don't know. And to suggest, like, Amanda Serrano in total probably has over 40 pro fights.
Yeah.
I think she has over 40 wins.
Yeah. Let me just get it right here.
45-2 or something.
It's insane. 46-2-1
Wow.
as a pro boxer, let alone the 3 MMA fights. She even has 5 submission grappling fights. The gap in terms of experience, like, I don't know. I just think it's the biggest fight. But thrilled for Katie. Massive, massive win. Great to see the career continue. And great to see her get that one back. And great to see her get that. It was very close to her being 0-2 in Ireland, and that would have been devastating.
Who is she going to fight? Call it now.
I think Cameron, for several reasons. Number one, easiest fight to make.
Easier to make, yeah.
Both under the Matchroom umbrella. Number two, I think there's a big demand for it.
Who has the upper hand? Does it felt like, obviously, it's easy to say now in hindsight, but after Katie Taylor loses, it feels like Serrano has the ability to say, like, I'll do it when I want to do it. Now I would argue Katie is on top of the boxing world at the moment, and it would behoove Serrano to kind of do it now.
Higher than
I feel like
Clarissa Shields?
See, this is a different conversation. If we're going to talk about who's the greatest female boxer,
I'm joking. You know what? She has the momentum. She has the big fights. Look,
she has the momentum.
I mean, can we compare the scene in
Clarissa
Dublin?
Shields is one of the best boxers of all time, men or women.
To
Period.
Clarissa fighting in Michigan.
Shout out to the
What are
quote.
the scenes like in Michigan when she's fighting? What are the
Why are
scenes?
you doing this?
Why? I just want to know
doing this?
who's having the impact.
Why are you doing this?
Okay, here's the thing.
Not only is Clarissa
I
one
love
of the best
Clarissa
boxers
Shields.
of all
Don't make me
time,
hate on her.
Male or female, she also just decided to do MMA and did it pretty capably for somebody with her lack of experience. Like I love Clarissa. She's the best.
She's incredible. She's incredible. I love talking to her on the show. I almost hate that I even said that, only because it like turned into this thing, but whatever. I think it's Cameron for that reason, the Matchroom thing.
Yeah.
And also, I think Amanda wants her own homecoming. And she's talked about Puerto Rico and all that stuff. It was supposed to be. So I think and Katie ain't going to Puerto Rico. So I think that she's just like, let me get that.
We're in a spot where all of them kind of control their own destinies and can kind of decide, hey, I don't want to do it for one reason or another for the business. And also we have to remember that, like, you talked about where Amanda Serrano was prior to, this recent run and teaming up with MVP. She's also made a good amount of money in these last couple of fights. Like, I don't think she needs the money may not be the motivation to do a Katie Taylor fight, right? Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but she's okay. And she'll probably do whatever, whatever her goal is right now, whatever her ambition is, she'll set her mind to it and she'll go after it. If it is more money and this big Katie Taylor fight in Croke Park, I mean, sign me the hell up. That would be epic.
Oh my God. And I would say to any Irish fans out there who may be down on the state of Irish MMA, take a look at Irish boxing right now. That Paddy Donovan is an up-and-coming star. Gary Cully gets to win. Thomas Carty's great. He's a training partner of Johnny Walker. So there's something to be excited about as far as Irish boxing is concerned. Of course, the history there is much deeper than MMA. Could we go to Chicago now?
Yeah.
I mean, what a scene this was. I
watched from start to finish.
Waiting for this. You texted me saying, oh, what's going on with Survivor Series? And I mentioned to you there's been some talk of Punk. Didn't really know. And if I had to bet the house, I wouldn't. It just seemed like for those that don't know, like about 10 years, actually it was 10 years ago, I think today, CM Punk did a podcast interview with Colt Cabana, who at the time was his best friend. And he unloaded on WWE and talked about how they didn't treat his staph infection, all this stuff. And that was pretty much the beginning of the end. And then he goes to Royal Rumble. And then he pretty much walked out on the company and did the interview with me in his house right after. No, it was right before he walked out. It was we were there for the late January UFC on Fox in 2014 in Chicago. Benson Henderson against Josh Thompson was the main event. Yes, he was once a fighter, a very good one too. And then We interviewed him on Casey and we interviewed him either on I think it was the Thursday night, and then Royal Rumble was on the Sunday, and then he walked out. And now, after everything was said and everything done, that he comes back to WWE in Chicago.
I'm honestly shocked. I can't believe that it happened.
Insane. This doesn't happen in other sports, right? Only in pro wrestling does this shit happen, where people are like,
I mean, in MMA, kinda, I guess, right? Like,
what's the
at a certain
equivalent?
point-
What's the
I was going to
equivalent?
say, give me the context for what this is. I saw one tweet that compared it to Ngannou coming back to the UFC, and it got thousands of likes. So
No
I
way.
thought that was
No
the
way. Not even
equal
close.
equivalent.
I'll say that, first of all, that's way too fresh. Second of all, that didn't get litigious. This got litigious. They sued him, and I hope my details are correct here. It's been a while. They served him papers on his wedding day, and that really like pissed him off. The week of his second UFC fight against Mike Jackson in Chicago, remember he was in court that week
Yes.
finalizing this. The week of the fight, which unfortunately for him he lost, but then it got turned to a no contest, I think, because of the cannabis. Who would it be? Who'd it be?
I don't know. What are some of the famous like bygones be
Randy
bygones?
Couture in the
yeah,
UFC.
Randy coming back to the UFC would probably be
But as an active fighter.
to fight.
And then on top of that,
The thing
it's-
is, the problem with this wrestling versus MMA is the timelines are shortened, right? You can't have a career as long
And be
in
relevant 9
MMA.
years later.
Yeah, you can't just be, oh, I'm gone for 10 years and all of a sudden I come back. Is it like one of the Hall of Famers? Like who's like a persona non grata that got into the UFC Hall of Fame? Would it be like Shamrock getting into who would this be equivalent to? I can't think of one, but it wouldn't be active because the time frame is too short for how long you can be
Couture
relevant.
was a deep rivalry, him leaving. But then he came back. Remember, he came back against Brock. And then the rivalry started again. He kind of got fizzled out post, but it wouldn't even be as big as this. And who would get a pop like that?
when was the last time we saw CM Punk in WWE?
2014, January of 2014. And then he was gone for 7.5 years. And then he returned in August of 2021 as a part of AEW in Chicago at the United Center. That's when they gave out the ice cream bars and all that stuff. I will say he became a panelist before the pandemic, maybe a few months before the pandemic. It was like 6 or so months, if my timeline is correct. When WWE did their deal with Fox, they had a weekly sort of magazine show called WWE Backstage that they shot out of the studio in LA where the UFC on Fox stuff used to be. And then they hired him, and that was a huge deal because he was completely out of pro
Right, I
wrestling.
remember that.
He hated pro wrestling. The feelings he had, he never wanted. That's part of the reason why he came to MMA. He never wanted to do anything related to pro wrestling again.
Forgot about that.
And then he showed up on that. And then I was like, holy shit, he's showing up on this. Like, he's still talking about the product. So that's like one step. And then he returns to AEW. And then he has that run in AEW from August of 21 to August of 22, which culminates in this press conference where he shits on everyone. And he says the executives can't, run a Walmart and all this stuff. And he's sitting next to Tony Khan. And then he is pretty much persona non grata for a year. He comes back earlier this year, and then he has another falling out, and then they release him. And then here's Nick Khan scooping him up. This is, I think this is a massive blow to AEW. And I mean, if you're in the locker room, I don't know. It's interesting because WWE is on fire right now. They are on fire. So I saw there were some people saying like, oh, don't ruin the chemistry, don't ruin the locker room, don't ruin the vibes. But I don't think he's going to be that way back there. That's just my opinion. And I don't think they're going to use him every week like AEW used him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this
feels-
was in Chicago. And
in
like
Chicago.
that's his spot.
Allstate.
Full government name, Chicago made.
Chicago made. I mean, originally the rumor, he's never actually confirmed. The original rumor was Chick Magnet. Then it was Chicago made. And now it's just CM.
You said it was a blow to AEW, but it's almost like unavoidable, right? Because they can't have him back. There's
Yes.
been too much there. So like it would have had to be he rides off into the sunset, but WWE snatched him up.
And so just to be clear on this, like you said, the copyrights ran. So like this is at the very end of the show.
Very
You
end of
think
the
it's
show.
over, and
It's
they
like
bring
a
him
thing.
out.
It's like a thing in WWE. Like when the pay-per-view is over, when the copyright thing comes up, the little bug,
Okay, so this was a pay-per-view. This was a
Oh,
big
it's
deal.
pay-per-view. Yeah. Well, actually, it's a
Premium
PLE.
live event.
PLE now. They call it a PLE because on Peacock you can't you don't do the $50 anymore. You
Okay.
just get it with the subscription. So the copyright goes. They go to the wide shot, and you're like, all right, it's over. And they did that once before last October with the return of Bray Wyatt, and then that music hits and the place. I mean, did you see the clip?
No, I still haven't seen the clip.
You still haven't seen the clip? The place went fucking ape shit. The place went.
haven't
You
seen
got to
the
see
clip.
the clip. You would love.
I'll
the
watch
clip.
the clip. I'll watch the clip.
The clip is unbelievable.
I felt like the
I'll
fans
watch it right now.
gripped him a little too strong. If I'm
They were loving it.
there was
I
a
wanted
little bit-
I wanted a beat more. It ended I just wanted I wanted a morsel more, but I guess that's the brilliance.
I'm not like a
So-
weekly viewer or anything. I wanted more than just walk out.
Yeah.
I was like, where's
But
the
now
future?
now he's showing up at Raw.
Raw tonight. Him and Randy Orton are back. And you know what's the great thing about this? Everything's been blurred. What's a shoot? What's a work? So there's the clip of Seth Rollins,
Oh God!
flipping him off. Shoot work. There's Rhea Ripley flipping him
What do you
off.
mean shoot work? That's the most obvious work of all time.
Drew McIntyre went to the locker room.
Yeah.
He's upset. Shoot work.
You're a mark. If
My sources are saying the Drew thing's legit. I think the Seth thing
legit
is
in what way? What's the legit?
upset. They're upset. They're upset. No
So
one
what?
knew. Only two
Suck
people
it
knew.
up. You work for WWE.
Oh my God, this is great.
You think Seth Rollins, who's been in this business for that long, doesn't realize what's happening? He thinks, you know what? This is the moment. I've worked with all these people. All of a sudden, there's
I
a
believe
million people in this
the Seth
arena,
thing is
and
not legit.
I'm just gonna lose my mind. There's nobody watching. I'm just gonna do this. Of course, it was a work.
People were like, "Look at Michael Cole holding it back." Oh, it's
Marks.
definitely
Marks.
real.
All right, Rick, you said the fans gripped him too hard.
Yeah.
And they went too crazy.
Yeah, they were the freaking
Wait
like.
I'm watching it right now. I mean, they're
Wait till
going
you
pretty
see
crazy.
when he goes to each corner.
Oh,
and
they're
how
like
hard he-
rear
I
naked
love
choking.
I love all the Chicago.
Yeah, the flags.
I
Oh.
didn't realize within his logo, it's like Chicago
Yeah.
stuff.
He's Mr. Chicago.
He's
Can you
royalty.
tell me about R Truth coming back? I heard that.
Our Truth was a big one. That was a big one. They had a nice little.
Randy Orton.
Yeah, Randy Orton came back. That was announced. Randy Orton, by the
Can
way,
I
holy
just-
shit,
can I just
he looks
take a
to be in
moment?
phenomenal shape. Yes.
WWE's promo packages are the greatest thing in
Amazing.
production. Just I don't watch, and in 3 minutes they catch me up on the storyline, make me invest in somebody. I'm excited for the match, and I've never seen anything like it. Like it just works every single time. The way they cut it, the drama, the music. I can picture it because every time I've watched it, I'm like, I don't really even like watching the wrestling part of it. But in the trailer, it looks amazing. Like I'm thinking to myself, like if I watch this just on a Monday or whatever, it would look so corny. But then when I watch it in the trailer, I'm like, this is the greatest thing that's ever been done. So whoever does those, whatever team is responsible for those should be the highest paid people at WWE. They're incredible.
Oh my God, it was. They've always been this way. Like I got to do that one package for them.
These people are like distraught.
Oh my God.
They're like,
I did that one package for them for Extreme Rules, and I just like voice it, and then all of a sudden I was like, "Holy shit! This got the WWE
Promo.
the treatment."
Yes.
Oh,
that was good. Almost
Amazing.
5 million views in one day.
Oh yeah.
oh my-
Anything I saw tweeted or
where did you watch
talking
that?
about
Because
it.
it's like a gazillion views on every platform.
Yeah, this is on WWE's YouTube page. But
Oh,
anything
yeah,
that I
Twitter.
saw on any social, like the Triple H post got like 230,000 likes. Like,
And so the Triple H thing was perfect because it was what did he write? A Mighty Cold Day in Hell.
yeah.
And the beef was in large part between the two of them. I just love. It's
Well, I think Punk had a few.
he had a few,
Yeah.
but the one he didn't have a beef with was Nick Khan.
Yep.
So now is Raw tonight like going to be huge?
It's going to be
Oh, yeah,
gigantic.
They're gonna have a
Someone,
great rating.
Are you going to watch, Rick?
I'm going to watch.
This is where I'm out. I
Nah.
watched the event because there was no UFC. I can't watch
I'm
Raw.
still waiting for next year's Royal Rumble, baby. Where I
it's
clock back.
January
watch-
Tampa. That's
Yeah,
the next
yeah.
one.
Are we going to WrestleMania 40 and
It's
WrestleMania
it's a
40
stone's throw away.
in Philly? That's what I'm saying.
What
A
about
place we can stay.
um
Hotels.
in Philly?
Yeah.
Easy. We might do our own show there.
Wow.
I'm sending you this. So the tweets afterwards, because the funny thing about when Nick Khan took over as president of WWE, everyone shat on him because they blamed him for all the all the layoffs and stuff like that. And who knows? I don't know who was in charge of what, but the tweets yesterday, like praising him for this return, were pretty amazing. I sent you one, Connor. This one, this one was pretty good. If you want to pull it up in a moment, it's the one.
He's vetting it now.
It's the one where Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone are cutting a promo on him, and he says,
Oh yeah, where he says there's only room for one Khan, right?
Yes, in the wrestling business, and it's me.
That's great.
Can we put that up? Can we put that up?
Yeah, if you give me a second, I can.
Someone puts the caption for the tweet is Nick Khan been putting up MJ numbers since this promo.
No, but isn't it a thing? Like, honestly, didn't AEW strike the most recent blow before this? Right? They took Edge from WWE.
That's not
unless
the
I'm
recent.
mistaken. Oh no, what was the most recent?
Cody
one?
Rhodes.
That was after that.
No, Cody Rhodes was 2 WrestleManias ago.
Oh, so that is the most recent one.
Oh, most recent, but this started long before that.
No. The most recent, I'm saying. Like, what was the score heading into this is what I'm saying.
Oh.
And then WWE took
Jade Cargill.
yes,
Yeah.
Jade Cargill.
So that was a big one too, because she was like a homegrown talent.
Yeah.
MJF obviously is a massive name, but yeah, I mean they also got Daniel
he didn't
Bryan.
switch.
No,
switched?
he didn't. No, he didn't.
Okay.
But he's talked about his desire.
Yeah. 20. I mean, he's been on this show 2024,
Right.
baby.
Daniel Bryan went over. That was a bit of a surprise.
But these are a while ago. Moxley.
Moxley, and those are
The
kind of
recent ones is Edge.
Edge is the most recent
and-
one, but like this is seismic.
No. This is but the difference is they didn't want him for all intents and purposes.
Edge had. I think Edge is a incredible talent, Hall of Famer, one of the greatest of all time. It felt like there was nothing, and he said it himself. There was nothing left for him. I think people, you have 10 years now of bad blood of CM Punk, the pipe bombs. Remember Vegas pipe bomb? Like just not knowing where this is going to go, who he's going to feud with, what he's going to say, work, shoot. It's all just great. It's all just great. And I'm sure the Freakazoids are all upset about it and all that. Just enjoy it.
Where did the term Freakazoids come from?
I don't know. I just said it that day. I just said it. I love pro wrestling. I have no bones to pick with anyone. This is 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, WCW, WWE. Like this is great. This is why it's great to have a number 2. This is why I wish there was a number 2 in MMA. So people go back and forth and it's a big deal. You know what I mean?
Do you not feel you could keep up with wrestling? And this is just like, I'm not trying to harsh anybody's mellow or ruin anybody's experience. I feel like I've talked about this before. I only consume wrestling media, right? Like I listen to a wrestling podcast. I kind of, see some stuff on Twitter and I feel like I got it. Like I feel like I can keep up with the drama, but I don't have to watch it.
There's a lot.
Do you not feel like you can?
Oh, I'm not watching 3 hours
I don't have
here
time.
on Monday.
There's too much wrestling.
I'll be honest with you. I got
enough MMA as it is. Like there's too much of that.
I go to the TNT Sports WWE page. I'll listen to a few podcasts here and there. Yeah. You see some links, and you feel like you're up to speed.
Same. It takes a special one to get me to watch, but no UFC. I did watch this one on Peacock.
All right, we got the con.
Okay, this was a couple of years ago when there was some talk that WWE and in particular Nick Khan was trying to ruin his relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling, I believe it was. Here's Tony Khan, son of Shad Khan, owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, also the Fulham Football Club, cutting a promo. This was an online only thing, I believe. A rare sort of shoot promo on the other side, and this tweet was this video got brought up because this individual. Sean Slate wrote, Nick Khan has been putting up MJ numbers since this promo. Here's the aforementioned promo.
In fact, I think there's only room for one Khan in the wrestling business, Nick. And it's me, it's Tony Khan. It's not some con man from Connecticut. Have a fun show tonight, Nick.
Jaguar shirt.
Yeah.
Tony Schiavone, shout out.
Yeah,
Atlanta radio legend.
Oh, big fan of mine. He's not from Connecticut, for the record, but I get it. WWE's based in Connecticut. But it's been, getting Cody away, the Jade signing, this one's a little bit different, I understand. I wonder if Tony would do it the same. He had to do something because the locker room was kind of in shambles and divided over what had happened. But golly, that's a big.
Who could he go out and get right now that would turn the tide?
It's hard for me to say because I don't know the status of everyone's deals. You know
What
what I
if he
mean?
just got Brock Lesnar tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean that'd be pretty fucking huge. Yes.
I mean, so there we go. He's got his work cut out. Cut the check.
You saw the
Ronda
conspiracy
Rousey.
theory
Yes.
that WWE asked CM Punk to do the stuff in the locker room.
Nah, this is crazy.
I just thought it yesterday.
No.
Yeah, that was funny.
No. Leave it to Frank to chime in with it.
I was going to say Frank been quiet, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about Amanda Serrano for 25 minutes and he didn't say a word. Now we get some CM Punk conspiracy.
Ronda Rousey showed up in ROH, Ring of Honor, which is owned by Tony Khan.
Oh, interesting. Wait, Ronda Rousey's not with WWE.
Well, apparently not, because she showed up at the event like 2 weeks ago. It was, you know, it was like a womp womp, you know. There was
Okay.
there was nothing there. So like you might think if you're a casual, like, oh, they get Ronda Rousey.
Wait, but why isn't she in AEW?
No, and none of it makes sense.
Okay.
I don't even know if that was televised. I saw it because Ramundi was there in the front row and got it on his cell phone or something.
Is this wrestling that we're talking about still?
Yeah.
This is wrestling. So Tony Khan also owns, just like PFL, he owns a secondary promotion called Ring of Honor. So he was asking me, is there someone that Tony Khan can now get from
It can't be
WWE?
Ronda. She's not big enough, right? Wrestling world wise.
By the way, I don't think even getting Brock Lesnar would be as big as this.
As big as
because
this.
of the history, because of the bad blood, because of the holy shit, what is he going to say tonight? And holy shit, who's he going to work with? And how's that all going to pan? Is he going to be the guy to beat Roman Reigns? Oh my God, you know yourself. It's fantastic.
Would I get
You're so excited.
Would
I
I
love
get
everything
what
about it.
like is going on if I tuned in tonight?
What you would
No,
get
you need
is
the backstory.
what you would. Nah, I don't even think. I think you got the backstory right here. I mean, do you need 10 years worth of podcast interviews? No. What you just need to
kinda
know
do.
is this guy said I would never come back here. This guy said it would be a cold day in hell if I ever stepped foot in this ring ever again. This guy was served on his wedding day. This guy, the week of his last UFC fight, was in court. This guy said a lot of
Raised
things.
questions about how his health was taken care of while he was
Thought he was
competing.
dying.
Yeah.
Then he showed up 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, in the rival promotion and said, I'm home and I'm so happy and I found my love again.
And then
What channel?
destroyed the locker room and left.
And left, yeah.
What channel is it on? USA?
USA, 8 o'clock tonight.
All right.
Now, do they kick it
man.
off? Do they start the show with it or do you build it up?
I have
You have to start
No
because he's
clue.
not going to wrestle, right? I mean, I assume not.
Oh, hell no. You're not giving this away. He's
Yeah, so you start the
maybe
show
he
with it.
shows up at Royal Rumble, meaning in a wrestling capacity.
Yeah.
WrestleMania for sure.
We'll see you there, punk.
Also,
I'll get my bets in.
I mean, there's so much here. There's so much here because like Raw, the Raw deal is done at the end of next year. So now you can, if this like proves to be a big ratings, victory now.
You're heading into negotiations.
Yeah,
with
because
a
I
nice
don't know if you guys know this, but SmackDown's on Fox now. SmackDown's going to USA next year. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts. As I mentioned
do
last
know
week
this.
on the show, NXT going from USA to the CW.
Wow, shout out to the CW.
Yeah, you guys, you got to keep up. There's a lot going on. PBC, Amazon. I see the Twitter sphere talking about that. Shout out Benson. Have we finally broken through into the boxing space when we get a Benson mention?
Benson mentioned, yeah.
mean,
Is
He's
Michael
prolific.
Benson a real person?
He's
is he-
prolific. You know what? Don't dare slander the man who.
I'm not
raised-
slandering.
who
I just want
ra-
to. Has anyone
Don't-
seen
what do
him?
you mean You're not slandering. You're asking if he's a real person.
I've
as
never
if-
seen
as
him.
if you don't.
He's just.
Him?
His
Is he
avatar
our
quite
Jedi
blurry
Goodman?
and small.
No, I'd say he's not as specific to the one. Like he is just everything boxing.
Everything.
If you need to know about boxing, you can follow him and nobody else.
Yeah, he's
and
great.
you will learn everything. In fact, so much so that I learned this morning that it seems like my boys are going to be fighting in February. So
Oh, that's right,
Shout out to
February 3rd.
Benson for making me aware of it because
Tottenham Hotspur.
early Christmas present for yours truly, Connor Ben versus Chris Eubank Jr. I mean,
Yeah,
let's do it, please.
at Hotspur Stadium, right?
Biggest fight of the year.
I'm just happy it's not in Saudi. Like, there's certain fights that have to
You
be in
have
certain
to
locations.
do it in the UK. You
Yeah.
have to.
You have to. All right, and then Benavidez wins. It was a great night. I enjoyed it.
Great fight. I mean, Canelo versus Benavidez. Yes.
That's the one. Has to be the one.
I feel like it's not going to happen. Maybe I'm just too pessimistic. I
No,
feel like
I
all
think-
these like no brainers just don't happen.
They're both PBC guys.
Yeah.
Should happen. How'd you guys do?
We won.
You did?
Yeah, another big dub here.
What is that?
No, I don't know.
I mean,
You
we've been
sounded
on
way
fire
too.
lately.
You sounded
Easy
too shocked
word.
there. You sounded too shocked. I'm sorry to say.
Is this the highest we've ever been? Plus 4.8 for the old.
No, because I think we
Parlay?
started like plus like 7 off like the
Oh, yeah,
rip
yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And then
Still, I mean, we're still 10 down from 500, 26 and 36. But yeah, I mean, fairly easy dub here. I mean, OAM, very close fight going into round 5, but he gets it done. Other than that, I mean, a little worried, I guess, when Katie Taylor got knocked down in round 1. But yeah, big dub.
Nice work, guys.
I mean, Frank's hero coming back this week. Bobby Green fighting again. Will he pick him? Won't he pick him?
That's right, our hero. I mean,
Yeah.
he saved our butts.
Well, a lot of people talking.
Why is that Frank's hero?
He
Bobby
picked
Green.
him.
Literally the best.
Picked
In
him
the
like
Parlay
plus
Boys.
320 in the Parlay Boys
Oh,
a few
okay.
weeks ago against
He
Grant
thought
Thomas.
he was a favorite and picked him as a 320 dog and nailed it.
Nailed
I mean,
it.
it was incredible.
The man.
I mean, the guy's digging in the tape. He knows. He knows. So good on Frank and good on the Parlay Boys. I mean, it feels like ever since we've had Juliana join the crew, he's
Killing
on
it.
fire.
Killing
On
it.
fire.
Love to see it.
My picks,
Yes.
PFL, a lot of picks there. A lot of
Wow.
picks. 7-5 on singles, 1-1 on the parlays. Felt like we left a lot on the table. I had Pacheco by knockout. Thought we were going to get that a couple times over. Unfortunately, did not. And then, I mean, Nicholson Wildheart getting the KO there.
Told
Killed
you.
this parlay. You
Told
did
you.
tell me.
I did tell
You
you.
did tell me.
Yeah.
You did tell me. What was the statistics across amateur and pro career if you had taken her by stoppage? in
No,
the fight?
listen.
You'd still be down like 13K.
No.
Final results. Another winning week. 17 of 19, 16 of 18, something like that since July 1st. I mean, can't keep up. It's been so long at this point. I mean, we are really running on a heater. And that brings us to the final recap for the month of November. And what do you know? I mean, I don't know what it is. November has become my month, not only this year, but last year too. Clean sweep across the board. Once I know the pressure is on and I'm donating my winnings to charity, I just take it up a notch. November, last 2 times, 8-0 across the weeks. Have not had a losing week in November since 2021. So that feels good. And that brings us, now that November has come to an end, almost 10 units up in the month, which, as I said at the beginning, donating all the winnings, and that is exactly what I did. 478 smackaroonies right over there to Movember. There is still time to donate if you want to. All the funds go to help men's health and men's specific diseases. We've raised already over 1,000 this time around. So over 5,000 overall. You can scan the QR code. Link in my bios on social. So yeah, shout out to Movember. I have to say goodbye to the mustache now. The beard's starting to grow back in. December is just a few days away. So 11 more months till we get the mustache back.
That's a really cool thing. Shout out to you for doing that.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Shout out to Movember. And
Mr. Movember at this
I like
point.
that you're growing in the beard here, but leaving the stash.
Oh yeah, I feel like I really get a nice look once it's like 5 o'clock shadow, but the full mustache, it looks good. It looks,
Oh, it's fantastic.
might have to bring the cowboy hat out. It really works well.
You and Impa.
Me and Impa. Yeah, he looked great in that cowboy hat after winning $1 million. And then just lastly, it's not a big hitter. I just have to discuss this with you guys. This is actually a bad beat of the week. Our man Trent took Katie Taylor to win and be knocked down in round 1.
What?
300-1.
What?
He also took Katie Taylor to be knocked down in either rounds 1 or 2, 80-1.
Wow.
And Kaylee Taylor to be knocked down in the first minute of any round, 17-1. So lost all of them. I mean, one of them, the Katie Taylor to win and be knocked down in round 1 would have won him $1,500.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Disgusting work. The Katie Taylor to be knocked down in either rounds 1 or 2 would have won him another $400. It's almost $2,000 left on the table. Was the knockdown or the slip? Did that happen in the first minute of the first round? I feel like it might have been later on, so he would have lost that one. But almost.
I mean, it's only 2 minute
$2,000.
round, right? So it couldn't have been that far off.
Yeah, true.
Oh my God.
A lot of money left
That
on the
is
table. For our
horrific.
man. A lot of money left on the table.
Oh,
That hurts.
my dear.
Poor guy.
The Katie Taylor to win and be knocked down in round 1, 300-1
gotta-
is crazy.
This guy needs a picture on like
That's
the
plus-
Bad
that's-
Beat Hall of Fame.
That's plus 30,000.
Ay, ay, ay.
Not as bad as that one. I saw a guy who did a parlay on all the Premier League games on Saturday, and the one that he lost was Luton Town beating Crystal Palace, which was just, I mean, Luton Town, Rick, is not exactly one of the best teams.
Okay.
Out of
Crystal
relegation.
Palace is?
No, but, I would think most people thought that they were at least going to
Right, it seemed like
beat
a sure
them.
thing.
Yeah, and that's the one he lost on. That sucks. Anyway, that's money,
That is money. Next time, Trent. Next time.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to our guy Anthony Smith taking fight at short notice. Khalil Roundtree.
Yeah, big one.
A lot of
Ain't
announcements.
no walk in the park.
Tough matchup.
A lot of announcements from D-Dubs.
Oh, yeah, I loved it. We were getting the Thanksgiving.
Where was he?
I felt like he was at his house for Thanksgiving. I mean, he
Just
had
out in the
decorations
back?
Up, the lights.
Well,
yeah.
didn't he say, unless I'm mistaken, somebody will correct me. I think he said here in Austin, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
So
He did.
that would mean he's in Austin.
He's probably got a house there.
In Austin?
Or maybe visiting buddy Joe Rogan. Who knows?
It could be.
Didn't look like Austin.
He said here in Austin in the video. That's all I remember hearing.
Get there a week early. He's got to get ready for fight week. UFC
But here in Austin for what? Because Anthony Smith is not in Austin. He's the following week.
No.
No,
He said that in the Jalen Turner announcement video.
Oh, okay. All right, fine. Really? All right. Fine. Anyway, thank you to Cash App for their support. Cash App wants you to know it's not a perk if you pay for it. That's why Cash App cards offer you the best of both worlds. Offers and discounts without the hidden fees with incredible perks like discounts on Vivid Seats and Booking.com or card customization so you can match your card to your hat. Cash App cards offer premium rewards without the premium cost. That's money. That's Cash App. Download Cash App from the App Store or Google Play and start collecting those perks today. Good Thanksgiving, guys.
Great Thanksgiving. Did some tabletop gaming with Frankie.
Really?
Yeah, I got a picture of it actually.
Wow.
Look at
There
us.
it is.
Tabletop gaming.
What is this game? Explain this.
Oh God, it's gonna take a while to explain.
What is it called?
Fun.
Life?
So it
Crew.
just looks like cards. It doesn't look like.
It's
Oh,
played
no,
on a
it's-
tabletop.
Yeah, it's expansive. It was played on a tabletop. We were sitting down. Frank's breaking out all these rules. I was like, "Yeah, we got to go in 18 minutes." He's just like, "All right, won't get too far."
What's it called?
The Crew.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the crew in the picture or that was playing. It's called The Crew. Wow, never
Called
heard
The
of
Crew,
that.
Yeah. We actually played two games. Another one called
Yeah, we don't need to
Flux.
talk about the other one.
I won both times, so him
wow.
and his wife quit.
Wow.
And they
Frank?
rage quit in a tabletop game.
We
which
let
is
him-
something I never thought I'd say.
Let him get the illusion of success so he would stay committed to playing.
Where was
And
this?
then he beat you again. So
It was at my house.
Oh, wow.
It was nice.
Frank, you get an invite or what?
It's an invite to all.
Thanksgiving.
I was with my daughter on her birthday, so I wasn't coming in.
Just your daughter?
Well, it's her birthday. Thanksgiving is her birthday, so we had family over.
What about that? I saw a great interview with New York Rick on the Found Generation podcast.
Oh, my
He said,
gosh.
If you want to learn more about what makes this man tick, I mean, 2 weeks ago,
Do you
great
feel
one
like it was? I feel like you learn more about Troy than you learned
Nah,
about
it
me
was
in the
great.
interview.
Just the way your mind works.
Yeah.
I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I listened to the whole thing before we even got in. It felt like I had spent an entire day with Rick, and then I got to
Yes.
see him. I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?"
Great stuff. Check it out.
Is this good? Is
Found
this
in-
bad? What do we?
No, this was great. I enjoyed it. The both interviews I liked. The one with GC 2 weeks ago, and then the one with you. Great stuff.
Yeah, if you're a fan of this show, go check out the Found Generation. Troy, TST to the Initiated. He has a podcast, and both myself and Connor were on it.
All right, gents. Time to go. God bless. See you Wednesday. Frank, very quiet today. Is everything okay?
Everything's great.
Wow. Went to the music before I even asked for it.
No.
You have
I
a
can
plane to
tell.
catch?
Mad about losing in Flux.
No one loses at Flux.
That was the.
simply-
Sometimes I sit here and I'm like, is he going to play the music? This time you just went for it.
Yeah.
You're okay?
Yeah, man. I could stop it.
Is there anything more annoying than someone being like, is everything okay, man? I mean, like,
And then when you're like, I'm fine, and then they double down, like,
You're
are you
like-
sure?
are you sure everything's okay? Because. All right, everything's okay.
Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
Oh, thanks for asking. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. Had the turkey,
What pie ended up showing up?
pumpkin pie. Have to say, quite nice.
Did you mention?
Absolutely
I was
not.
wishing there was a
No,
pecan.
absolutely not. Let's move on. It was all good. It was all good. Pecan, pecan. I have determined that I like the cranberry, the stuffing, all the other stuff much more than the actual turkey.
Good call. But do you only eat white meat?
I'm more of a white meat kind of guy.
Yeah.
What about
Gotta venture out to the dark a little bit. You might feel like, hey, the turkey balances all these other
I
things.
feel like
out
the white
pretty
meat
well.
is cleaner than the dark meat. I don't know why.
That is a weird thing to say.
I just feel like it's just healthier is what I mean by cleaner. Like I
It's
just
drier. It's definitely drier.
Is it drier?
Oh yeah.
Really?
I used to be the same way. Like I don't eat the white meat. Had a dark meat once. I'm like, this is a whole other world.
And what part of the bird is typically dark meat?
Like the thigh, the leg,
Interesting.
everything but the breast and the meat,
All right. Well,
the head.
thank you very much, all our guests: Olivia Aubin-Mercier, Joe Pfeiffer, Impa Kasangane, Mike Kogan, and Sky Nicholson. Great day, great show. Thanks to them. Thanks to all of you. Back on Wednesdays.